Well, hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Island Church Weekly Podcast. Here with Pastor Will McRaney. Joining us from a different location today, a
Yes,
little bit farther north than we are. How you guys doing? How you holding up?
we're doing fine. Some of our people that were there Sunday will know, but many of our people maybe watching this don't know. Sandy and I are in Pascagoula, Mississippi, the early part of this week. Sandy's brother, her only sibling, passed away, passed into eternity with Jesus last Friday in a very unexpected, short, compressed time frame from Monday night, not feeling well, to all the way until Friday. And so we're here. We got a service action a little bit where he taught. He taught at or was on staff at a Christian college here actually in Mobile, Alabama. And then tomorrow, which will happen by the time people watch this, will be on Wednesday. We've got the funeral service, and so we'll be participating in that. And so we're just trying to love on the family and just thinking about good times with her brother Bruce. Deeply loved his wife, loved the Lord, loved his wife, loved his children. Hard worker, loved by many. He worked about 30 years on the campus of New Mexico State University, working in kind of student relations areas. And so a lot of people touched a lot of people, which just reminds us we should be trying to touch people. And so just thinking about his life, and we're grieving, but not without hope. And so as people watch, they can remember us as particularly Sandy as she's lost her brother, and Sandy's dad. We're staying with him. And our girls, all three of our girls, will be coming to town to participate in the service. So we're here doing that and seeing family and some friends. And it's good to be around a supportive environment. Shows the importance of family, shows the importance of having loving brothers
Yeah,
and sisters in Christ. And so that's
yeah,
really good. So
absolutely. Well, we'll be praying for you all this week. As we know, that's lots of emotional ups and downs and spiritual stuff that comes along with that. So lots of prayers for you guys, just for safety on the way back, and then also just for a time of sweet kind of healing for the family and just process together and just honestly, like you said, be together and love on each other. That's really what's often most needed in situations like this. So thanks for sharing, man. Appreciate it. You want to give us a quick recap of how Sunday was at Island Church?
yes, we had several new people I didn't even get a chance to speak to this past week, and we have some people returning that have been guests. And again, I want to thank our people for just connecting. We need some more people to serve on the connections team, and then we actually need some people to help us follow up with our guests and people that maybe be out of pocket. And we live in a college town, Matt. In a college town, I served as ministry youth in college in our first position, and the college students if they weren't there, they could tell their parents back at home, well, I'm up at church and at
Yeah,
school,
yeah.
and tell us when I'm back at home. And so I don't know that changes
You
a
never
whole lot.
know when they're actually there or not. Yeah.
That's right. So we do want to keep up with one another, and hopefully that takes place. But this past week we had guests, good music and encouraging there. And then I preached a message and had several people really touched them, talked about that's the best sermon you preached since you've been here. I don't know what the best is, meaning it's not
Yeah.
like you have best or not,
Never
but
know.
it touched people. That's right. And so I talked about this idea of knowing yourself and knowing our adversary. And what I really was trying to do is show how Christianity was radically different. It's on a different continent than other religions of the world.
Yeah. I love
And
that.
and so we looked at that, and I dealt with some things dealing with Islam and dealt with some other things related. I talked about Judaism and Mormonism, and
Yeah.
obviously I just skimmed the surface on that you have a couple of religions of the world, Matt, that are actually trying to have worldwide impact and propagation. And of course, is Islam a religion or is it an ideology? And actually, it's both, because you either, on some of those situations, not with all Muslims, but with those Islamists, you either can convert to Islam, you pay them off,
Yeah.
it's in their books, right?
Yep.
Or they come after your death or your destruction. And so I talked about why the U.S. was in this mess with Iran and why it's going to be so difficult, or at least in terms of the ideology behind it and how they've ingrained that in their children. So if you're there Sunday and you have some questions or some thoughts or reflections for me, certainly get those to me. But if you weren't there, I encourage you to take a look, and you may get some helps. And this week, I'm going to talk about not just the continents. I'm going to talk about the Christian continent being divided out, and I'm going to talk about some different parts, some different major sections of
Yeah.
Christianity.
Okay.
Because what does that got to do with you? What it has to do with you is are all churches created equal?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
is every
That's it.
denomination? How do we get so many denominations? And what's the differences? And I'm not going to explain everything. I'll take my
Yeah. Yeah.
normal 30 minutes or so, but I'm going to try to deal with that this week. And I encourage you to come. I encourage you, if you didn't listen last week, to go back and do that. And then come this week and invite some people. I'm going to deal with what's Protestant, what is Catholic, what is Orthodox, and why do we have these things, and why do we have these subgroups?
Yeah. Well, that's a big question for a lot of the believers out there, especially if they come from like our segment of the church world, where it's mostly evangelical, or whether it's Baptist or just denomination, or maybe they're Catholic. It's just like a lot of people will say, well, they're all trying to do the same thing, or they're all the same, or maybe they're not the same, and like here's why I'm this, or here's why I'm that. So I think just giving clarity to people around like why do we have these different kind of like groups within the broader Christian faith, and they all claim this, but like what are the distinctives, and why are we passionate about the way we're doing church at Island Church? I think is really really helpful for folks to understand.
Well, just get you some handles. I'm trying to give people a handle on this subject area, and because this is all in this series, I'm trying to wrap this up on identity. Because
Yeah,
again, the people who flew the planes into the towers identified that part of who they were was to sacrifice their life, and they
right,
would have eternal life and get rewards for what they
right,
did.
right. It's really
And
important.
so this really kind of matters. And then there's as people look for a church, and I've been thinking about writing a book for gosh probably 10 years on like how to find a church.
Yeah, how to find a good
And there are
church.
certain things that you should not that are non-essential, but they're essential things. And so I'm going to try to help you understand the difference, the different categories, and then what these are kind of things are essential, and these things are not. And we all have preferences.
Yeah,
Everybody doesn't like Motown music like me,
right, right,
but
right. Yeah, yeah.
but there's some
Really
common
helpful.
things about music.
Yeah, yeah. I joke a lot when people are like, I don't like denominations. And I always like will joke. I'm like, well, I mean, like, just let's talk about it practically. If my Presbyterian friends believe in baptizing babies and I don't, it's going to be really hard day to day to do church together when they're like, you should have your baby baptized. I'm like, no, I don't believe in that. And they're like, no, but you really should. So, like, there are some helpful reasons why there's different denominations. And then there are some things that are, yet again, sometimes we split over preferences and little things that it's like, well, probably should not be so quick to split on things. So excited to hear that message. It's going to be great. What's coming up in the life of the church that folks need to be aware of?
Well, I think any day now we're going to get the cost on our facilities, but really what we want to do is not just we want to think. I've been waiting for this actually. I've never been waiting for an invoice, Matt, but
Yeah,
this is the invoice. This is just the estimate. I'm not sure I'm going to like the estimate, but what I'm going to like is it's another step forward toward our expanding and really becoming a multi-generational church. And if you've been around, you have noticed most weeks for the last 8 weeks we've had small babies, we've had some small children, and if we ever got them all together, it would be quite a group, and we're going to work towards that. And so we're about to get our final estimate on the building. I think that's going to actually be this week. It should be this week. And so that would give us a good solid number. And but then what we're most excited about is not just the building. What we're excited about is what we're going to be able to do in and through the building to people, to connect with people, to build bridges to people. So we're going to need some new teams, Matt. And so here we go. So if you're out there and you're listening now, sitting on the sidelines is not going to work. We don't need a stadium full of 100,000 people watching Ohio State football. We need more people on the field playing the game, right? You know,
absolutely.
100,000 people out of shape, 22 players on the field in
Yeah,
shape. So we need all of our people engaged. So here we go. So I think in our church several things that I think feel impressed from the Lord to us to kind of beef up and put some attention to. We need some people just on a financial team that just will kind of keep over some things. We're in the process of changing a system or two, and we think it's going to be easier to do that. But we need people that this is part of what their ministry is. We need some people that will help us in terms of missions and outreach. We can't do everything, but we should be doing certain kinds of things. We're not in an area on the island that or in the surrounding areas where there's just people that are walking around hungry. But there are other things that we can do. And we want to do those. We have people that need to serve on a connections team. Just greet someone, say hello, have a smiling face. We can do this as family units,
yeah.
small children welcoming people. So important. So we need that. We're going to need some additional people serving in ministry leadership, leading a young adult group, or leading a college age group. You people say, "Well, I haven't tried that before." Well, no one's tried till you tried. You've never done
Yeah,
it.
yep. It's the way you learn.
So so you can give it a go, and if it works, great. It's great. If it doesn't, then we'll find something else. But then there's one other area, and that's in our children's area, and we need at least three different types. I'm going to start with two, but really need a youth one too. We almost need a group in our church and someone to run point with our nursery to preschool and down, nursery to preschool. And right now, Sandy's on the phone. We're driving in to the memorial services and be with family and stuff, and she's working that phones we're setting up things related to the nursery and preschool, and then she's working the phones related to stuff related to children. And so we know we have some people that step forward and are going to help us in this area, but we're going to need a little team to pull this off because we have children that desperately need the gospel. Listen,
Absolutely.
if you're in the message last week, I told you that part of the challenge in Iran, because there are Christians in Iran, right?
Absolutely.
We understand that. But part of the challenge is that you have this ideology that's been intentionally dropped into and poured into the lives of their children. And it doesn't matter how many leaders you kill and take out. They feel like they're sacrificing for eternity for actually it's going to be a false God for a false cause. Muhammad's not going to save them. And so we who have the gospel, how much more important for us to pour into our children and to help our parents do that. And so that we desperately need some assistance. And so if you have an interest in helping with the financial area, helping on a ministry team, missions and outreach, I'll connect with people. I'll follow up with them. I'll write a note. I'll make a call. Or I also help serve in the children's area with the preschool and under, or either the grade school type kids. We need all hands on board. Everybody grab an oar. Let's get going. The building's not going to do it. We got to get moving. We owe it to our parents. We owe it. I mean, we are debtors ourselves to the gospel.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we have the truth, and we need to live like it.
That's a great word, man. Man, what a good encouragement for us this week. Everyone grab an oar. Grab an oar. I think it's time to bring that oar back out, man. That's right. A metaphor for it. I love it. What's one way folks can be praying this week? I think I know what you're going to say, but what's one way folks can be praying this week?
You play about your role. Play about your part.
Yeah.
We say, well, I don't know what to do first. Well, then let's just try things out. Maybe you find something that just sticks. You thought, I never thought I would like that, enjoy that, and you really do. Or maybe you say, gosh, I tried that. Well, that didn't work out. Well, let's find something else. Put you at another position or another, ministry. Think about a team. You just find another role. But just keep connecting with people this summer, and then praying about, and then not just pray. Talk to me. Talk to Sandy. Talk to Jolene. You want to get the most out of your Sunday experiences and your time in life in our church and grow spiritually. You've got to be engaging with ministry. That's the way it works.
So good. That's so good, man. Awesome. What a great word. Well, Pastor Will, thank you so much for sharing. I know schedules are a little bit wonky right now, so I appreciate you taking the time to hop on and share with us. We will see all of you back here next week on the Island Church Weekly podcast. Maybe a little bit different. Pastor Will is going to be over at the SBC in Orlando. So, hey, you may have another location. We're just doing mobile studio this month. So,
yeah, that's right.
Thanks all for watching.